Welcome back, everyone. Let's get started. So today is going to be another, debugging day. So as far as I saw, no one submitted a story, so we're not going to discuss any stories. But if anyone would like to brainstorm, we have time for that. And otherwise, we can, debug or make plots and stuff like that. Yeah, Emily.
I have a plot question, I guess.
Sure.
For assignment for them resubmitting, I was working trying to make some new graphs, specifically plotting insurance and the number of cholesterol checks as a scatter plot, or the number of physicians in an area, per 100,000 people, and cholesterol check percentages.
Sure.
And so I need two graphs. I have the correlation for. I'll share the new documents. I copied the old code.
Okay.
So I didn't mess up the old part.
Okay. Do you want to put it in Slack or? Okay.
But yeah, essentially I have the data about the correlation, and even though one of them is supposed to be a little bit stronger correlation, the graph looks a lot worse, and I'm not sure it would be worth including or I'm getting something wrong, because it's a little bit more of a complicated one to me.
All right, let's take a look. Sure.
Put it in the debugging channel, or the code problem channel.
Programming issues?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. I'll put that right now.
Sure.
I couldn't think of the name for it.
Yeah, no worries. All right.
That should work. Just redo.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, to change access. Hold on. Should be good now.
okay. Cool. Okay, so yeah,
What I
let's,
mean is always bottom right before.
okay. Should I just run all?
Probably, yeah. So
Yeah, no worries.
I just kept, I did have the data that I needed for it already.
Okay. Sure. Okay, but eventually it'll get all the way to the bottom, which is,
So,
yeah.
those two parts right there.
Okay.
And essentially what I had done the correlation before, scroll to it, but I'll just tell you what I got. So I did the correlation for cholesterol checks in 2014 and insurance in 2013. Because they didn't have insurance first. And then I did for physicians and cholesterol in 2014. And I got what I did with insurance, it was a 0.5 something correlation, which is pretty solid. But when I move the graph, it looks worse than the one with the physicians, which is 0.45, which is pretty similar, but it's so much worse.
Okay.
So I wasn't sure to get the insurance one, I have to remove NA because they didn't have all the data.
Okay, yeah, let's take a look at it once it, let's see where it is.
I don't know, it's not done right or.
Got it. All right, so it's making some kind of a animation here. That looks right. And then, oh, but it's still processing that one. There we go. Okay. I see. So here are your correlations.
The top one, and then the fourth one down. Because I realized, like, with the video, I never thought of it visualized. It's like, I had the correlation, but I also didn't know that was the something really sort of stupid. But yeah, that's the insurance one. And then the one above it is the physician one. And I feel like that looks better. I don't know. The correlation's lower.
Okay, well, remember, there's like Anscombe's quartet, which like, you know, all three, I'll just pull up the Wikipedia copy of this figure. So all three of these scatter plots have the same correlation between X and Y.
Okay.
So, you know, if you're in this mode,
Yeah.
it can look pretty funny.
Okay.
So, you
So
know,
it seems reasonable. I just-
it's not, well, yeah, it could be right.
I guess, yeah, I just kind of looked at one. I was like, when I see that, I feel like when you look at that, it doesn't look great. You're telling a story like, oh, there's a good correlation.
So here there's supposed to be a 0.5 correlation between these two.
Yeah.
So it's weird that the slope is negative.
Oh, true. Did I not do that right?
I'm wondering.
No, I think it has a positive slope, but the scales and the axes make it look really.
Yeah.
So if you could zero both of them, and do 0 to 100 as the scale, it would probably be like exactly what you just.
I don't know, because the axes are in order, but we could try this. So we could say plot that X limit equals 0, 100. And the Y limit, we could set to 0,
I
100.
guess also, I don't know if like the right, a line of like.
Yeah,
that's it's too far.
it's just,
But I don't know if I like did it exactly the right way, like I Googled it, trying to do it, but
I see.
it might be like there's a better way to do it. So I thought it did.
Okay, so let's maybe start there. So you've got your data frame, which is it's got some numbers in
Oh,
it.
no, it's called something else, sorry. That one,
Oh, DF insurance.
insurance check.
Okay.
Insurance.
Okay,
Yeah.
so great. And then if we just, let's see if you have Plotly Express installed here. Yep, okay. Imported.
I
So,
guess
you know, we could,
I have one question is like, so like I removed NAs for sure when I plotted it because you couldn't like I had it, but there was different values and when I plotted it, it had to be, I guess like you couldn't plot it with NAs.
yeah,
And maybe could it have possibly when I correlated it had some NAs involved or no? Was that not? Pretty sure I removed them, but actually. Yeah, maybe there was like NAs involved. When I got it.
so maybe, yeah. Let's see. So do you have NumPy imported? Yeah. So let's see. Oh, it's called, what's your data frame? Insurance. Yeah. Oh, let's see. There we go. Okay. So let me remember how to do let's see. So just column 1 dot core column 2. So okay, so that's negative 0.05. So that would fit with the negative slope.
Okay, so
And it
it's
also
totally
looks-
different than what I had before.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know how you made this data frame, but we could look at it. So let's see what you had. A lot of stuff here. Let's see.
Yeah, sorry, you can just-
No worries. Okay. So, okay, so here you do your correlations. So let's see what, is this the data frame? This is DF, okay. Okay. So yeah, so we could check what the pandas correlation function does with missing data. Okay, well, that's okay. So DF of insurance is all that.
Oh, it's definitely this one.
Scott and Ann's, but sure. One thing we could do is we might want to plot DF insurance against, let's see what is it called? DF insurance check of insurance. Okay, well, so that could be a different order, first of all.
Oh, we can do this.
I
think maybe.
Well, where are the counties here? Because so that's,
Well,
that's,
I tried to make, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I
okay.
tried to make it so like each data point, because you would comment something about it was a county, and I thought that by putting it on the indicator value for both of them, that was a neat plot as each county was got.
Okay, so let's maybe go to where you are making that. Yeah, so one thing that could be happening is maybe the, columns are not being sorted in the same order here. So it's okay to have NANs, but we probably want the index of this data frame to be county, the county name, so that we can make sure that we're, dealing with stuff correctly. But let's go down to where you make that data frame. Oops, all the way at the bottom. Keep scrolling. Oh. It's this thing right here. I see. Okay. And okay, so you've got insurance 2013, which is I see. So to get the years, you've averaged in the year range here. And then these are all the, let's see what indicator. Okay, so this is all the same stuff. And then cholesterol 2014 is all the cholesterol checks. Okay. And then insurance, let's just see if you've got so you've already lost the indices here. But so we want the geography name as the index probably. So one thing we can do is we could set the index to geography name. So that'll create a data frame where like this is, the geography name is the index. So it's moved from like a column to the actual index. So if you compare it to the original, you've got like
Right.
things are indexed by the row in the original data set, which could be anything. But now we're going to set the index to something, interpretable. And then we could also, yeah. But really we want, yeah, so, okay. So we just want the indicator value. So that'll give us the insurance for each county. And now we've got everything indexed by county. But then we want to make it a data frame. And then let's rename the indicator value variable to insurance. And we could also rename actually. Yeah, but so let's see, we'll call this county, and then set index county. Okay. What did I do here? Oh. Oh. Okay. So now we've got, this is called county, and then indicator variable has been renamed to insurance. And we actually only want the insurance column. That's what we want. Okay. So we've got insurance is our first thing. And then we want to do the same thing for cholesterol. That whole thing. But instead of insurance 2013, we want cholesterol 2014, right? Okay, and then the indicator value is going to be cholesterol. Okay, and then we just want that thing. And now we want the combined thing will be the merge of those two. So that merges along the axis equals 0 would be down the rows. And then let me make sure this is right, actually. Okay, so that's okay. So insurance is a data frame that looks reasonable. Cholesterol is a data frame that looks reasonable. Okay. So what does this do? Doesn't like it. Oh, is it not 80 rows? Oh, we've got multiple entries per. That's interesting. Well, that makes sense why it's not working there. So well, something about Well, it looks like there's some NANs. Like every county appears. There's Vermont, which is not a county.
Yeah.
That appears twice with two different values. So that's strange. And then at like every county, it looks like it appears once with a number and then once with a NAN.
Yeah.
So that,
I didn't notice that before. It was like,
yeah, so this is why it's like really important to explicitly name your like indices and stuff. But let's take a look. We can keep trying to debug this. So yeah, so it's now we know like what's probably going on here. Okay.
yeah, when I look at it in the original base rate, I only see everything from the points. I see Bennington just as a. It was things honestly just as a before.
Right here. Yes. Okay. And this is just DF.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure where the data set that was. I want it.
And then how are these, like how'd you compute these columns? Like why not just take these out?
Yeah, well,
Because we could just look at like DF of recent cholesterol check. Oops.
I guess I'm just trying to make it a new data for the plot with that. But I guess that's a little bit. I was
And
like,
then,
I don't know, like for example, for the one with,
like this would give you a data frame with just those columns, right?
yes,
And then we could plot like, you know,
I guess, yeah, it won't be a problem if there's any. I thought that maybe that was not one I did it.
got it. So we could drop NANs.
And yeah, that was maybe a problem.
So X is the insurance, and then Y is recent cholesterol check. So that looks more
Yeah.
trendy. Cool. And then, yeah, we could say, let's see if we can add a name. Oh, hover. What are the options here? So, okay, so first of all, we could add a trend line, so that could be useful. Okay, so that looks reasonable. And then maybe we'd want like hover, like, you know, you might want to be able to see if we can, hover name equals county. But in order to make that work, let's see what DF reset index does. Oops. What does it call it by default? Just calls it index. So rename index, we'll call it county. oops. One. There we go. Okay, so now instead of, okay, so now we can have the hover name be county. And okay, what did I do here? Name of all that stuff. And then drop NA. Oh, right. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now when you hover over it, it'll tell you like what county
Okay.
you're at. So then you can check, you know, is the data like coming out okay?
Yeah. I guess another question is like, so my other graph that I made is like
Oops.
a different, like, I made it scatter plot, like field to scatter, quality scatter or something. And it looks very different. Is that a problem? You think, like, is there a way I can get a more uniform, like, for the variety?
Which other plot are you thinking?
Down all the plots. The one, that
This one, okay, yeah, so this is using matplotlib.
one.
So that's fine. If you,
And this one seems to be like.
yeah, so I mean, you can get this plot by saying px dot scatter and then, well,
Yeah.
so I'm guessing this one's probably messed up to, yeah. So you want to re-index that stuff. But if you had like a single data frame with these two columns in it, then you could do like data frame equals and then like merged data, whatever that's called.
Essentially what you recommend is like go back up to where I have the other graph and then take that code and then replace the word that says insurance with business positions. And then remove the drop in it.
Sure, I think, well, you want to keep the drop NA, I think, probably. So yeah, so you're looking at like, you're wanting to just subset out pairs of these columns, is that right?
Essentially, because I wanted to do exactly what I did in that line, and I want to do it with position. So Robert says, ensure we want to change the positions.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, so then actually,
You can like duplicate that one, I guess.
yeah, yes, that's right. So yeah, so if you want to replace insurance, you said with physicians, just physicians per 100,000. Yep. Sure. Oh, sorry. There we go. Yeah, so that'll make something. Yep. There we go.
So, and like the X and Y, is that like needs?
Yep, so this whole thing here, yeah, so what's happening here is this whole bit here is just a data frame. So if we go back here, we could have named this something.
I guess I'm asking, so I'm curious about how I put it, if I want to rename the axis to give a little bit more like specific, like percentage of recent flash jobs or something.
Oh,
Is that something I would need to do from what's
Yeah.
already written, or I have to
Yeah.
add more?
nope, you could do that. So, yeah, so we're getting a little unwieldy with this command, but we can like go to a new line. So the labels command
So I do that.
tells us how to remap. So if we want to change like physicians per 100,000, what did you want to rename it to?
No, that's fine, that one. The other one, the cholesterol check is a percentage.
Oh, sure.
And
Okay,
then like, I was thinking about adding like the graph as well.
sure. So,
And that's like what I have on the floor. I use some math plot, but it's a little more.
yep, you could use Matplotlib too.
But yeah, this one seems to work better. 'Cause,
Yeah, so, you can just use the labels thing to say, what is it called in the data frame? And then, so it's a dictionary that where the key is the original name and then the value is what you want to call it in the plot. And then to make a title, you just use the title flag. So it's a keyword argument, and then you can make your,
Thank you for all your help.
yeah, sure.
Makes a lot more sense now. Could you share this notebook with me?
Yes, I can. Okay. Okay, all right. Kareem, you have a question too?
Yeah,
Okay,
so we're trying to do that coordination bit.
okay,
And they're not sorted alphabetically, so, well, one of the data sets is, the other one isn't, so the countries aren't sorted.
okay, yeah. Do you want to share your notebook in Slack here, and then I can open it up?
Should be the same one as last time.
All right.
Might be
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So just run all.
Zero.
Yep. Runtime and then run all.
I just go there.
Oh yeah, that's kind of a pain. Yep. Yeah, and if it ever just crashes and like, you get stuck on something, you can just factory reset runtime and then delete the thing that's broken and then run all. Okay, but
We also have two issues over here. I think it's
Yeah.
For some reason, that just comes out, but it doesn't do what it does.
yeah. So I see what is going on here. So the locations are country. Oops. Oops. But you don't have country. Okay, let's see, what's in this? Okay, so yeah. Okay, you can't name it. Yep.
I see what's going on with the range. Probably,
Yeah, so this we want to change. Oh, it's per year. So, well, let's just get rid of this for now. And so it looks like, well, the automatic kind of scale is pretty nice there. Okay, and then here, let's see what happiness is like, okay, yep. So you've got country is the index. So you want to reset the index to make it a column. And then the location is country. Let me show you. Yeah. So yeah, so without resetting the index, the index is like a named, it's kind of like a named column, but it's special. If the index is like the keys, but it's called something. So if you reset the index, it changes the index to just the values 0 through number of rows -1, which in this case is like, 155 is the last row. And then it calls the index by default, but since you named the index, it calls it whatever you named it.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is just like,
Awesome.
I literally, it's just,
Okay.
you can just look right
And
now
then
and see.
the other thing that we
But
were
if you're like, I don't
having
think this is a
some
good
difficulty
idea. Yeah,
Um,
I was like, before I like ask them.
thinking for the last, right there, 1, 2, 3, maybe
So I'm saying.
you can see the size
This is
of
all just
them,
like,
they're
your
not.
questions, here's
Um,
what the data from. They see which.
Um,
Creating a new data
I mean, that's all we're
frame.
saying.
Hey, Allison and Emily, could you, it's hard to hear with multiple people talking.
Maybe creating a new data frame that uses the sunshine data and the annual. And then.
Okay, so happiness is this thing, and then score is the thing you want. But where's the country here? Oh, country is here. So maybe we want. Okay, yeah. So first of all, we could select out country and score. So those are the things that we care about.
Yes.
And then we'll set the index to be country. Okay, so that'll be the happiness things. And then let's also rename the column, the score column to be happiness or something like that. So that made, so see how the like word country is printed lower. Here, let me, okay. So without resetting, without setting the index, country is just a column, a regular old column. But we're going to want to organize the data by country because when we merge the data frames, we want to make sure that, in data set 1, Finland might not be the top row.
Yeah.
But and also like Denmark might appear in one data set and not in the other. So
by doing this, when we merge them together, it's going to check Finland is in both rather than like the next year.
exactly. So let's do the same thing with sun. So sunshine is some big thing. And then we just need, let's see, country.
Sunshine by country. Yeah. That would be the thing.
And then you want the year. Okay, so that gives us this, and then you want the index. But
I think we
okay.
have, the data frame called sunshine by country.
Yep. Okay. Great. So then really you just need the year column there. Okay. And then we can rename this to year to like sun or hours of sun per year or something. Oops. I always forget that. Okay, so now we've got two data frames here. One's called happiness. Well, actually, it's called nothing, and the other is also called nothing. But we want to merge these. So, oops. Well, let's call this X1 and X2. And then let's see, what's the right way to do this? So, okay, we want to preserve the intersection of the keys from both file names. So that's what we want. Okay. So X1 dot merge of X2, how equals inner. Oh, right. That's not what we want. Maybe we want concat. So it's and then join equals inner. Ooh,
Oh, no.
that doesn't look right.
It's like it concatenated vertically.
There we go. Cool.
Okay, and that is only 120. Wow, so a good chunk of the data is not.
In both.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And then I think from there we can just take those two columns and.
Yep.
Next.
Definitely. Yeah, sure. You have what?
TXT file.
Mm-hmm.
So the text, but well, I just thought like already was TXT file, so we had it yesterday. And the other one, I actually have a Word document, and I use like the function in Word docs and to transfer it, but to save as TXT file. However, GitHub, on GitHub, like there are some like empty space they could not recognize. So
Did you upload the file or?
I uploaded the file.
Is it on your fork or?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Oh. Okay, so first, just to prevent issues, I'm going to merge in the changes from the class repository. Okay, so it's in data stories, and then okay. Yes, or Sarul, yes. I see you raising your hand.
Hi, so I just had a quick question. So I have a data set with like a lot of text, and then in like one of the columns, so we're trying to do sentiment analysis, and then we're trying to find the word that's most repeated in like the columns. And can I share my screen real quick actually?
Sure. Well, so we were just working with Ruiz.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No,
So,
I can wait.
We could help you next if you want.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll do Ruiz, Sarul, and then Allison. Okay.
The empty space, some empty spaces recognize it, and sometimes it has a weird capital E.
Like this.
Yes.
Okay. And this is supposed to be a new line character?
An empty space.
Just an empty space.
Yes.
Oh, is this like a old
Yes.
English thing? Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
But in the TXT
Okay, so let's, I see. So let's play around with it. Or do you have a notebook already where you loaded in, or? Sure.
Like this empty space thing, they do not let me to, they cannot recognize the sentence by sentence.
Yeah, no problem. Let's try to fix that. Okay.
I guess
Did you post it in Slack?
no, I just shared the.
Do you mind just posting a link in Slack so I can? Or is it this? Let's see. Nope, that's your color theory one.
Programming.
Sure. Okay, great. Sure. Okay. 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 So let's load this stuff in. Okay, and then this looks like the thing you just. Okay, so. Oops. Oh, yes. Okay, so one thing we might want to do is okay, so we'll okay. Actually, we could just okay. So let's see what we've got here. Okay, so a bunch of stuff. So the first character is this strange thing. So one thing we can do is Franklin content dot replace, and then that character will replace it with, I guess, a new line character. So that'll be a little nicer. Just nothing. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Does that look right?
Yeah, that's good. Better than it was before.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
I didn't know they at least. knows, like, that is a line.
Okay. Are these the correct lines?
Yes.
Cool. Man. Velum testor stethis.
No, that's a mistake, but I'm gonna, okay, I'll like go back to the original.
We could see what the, yeah. You know what? If, ooh,
Yeah,
yeah, interesting. So, I see. So actually, we might want to replace it with space instead of nothing. Does that look nicer? Okay. Sure.
but
that's all.
That's all you need? Okay, perfect. That's easy. Great. Okay, so you should have access to that same notebook because I'm just editing the one you shared. All right. So Rule, I think you're up. So do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'll just share my screen then.
Sure.
Okay, I think this is similar to like Henry's question. So here's my data set. So sentiment analysis or find like the words that are more like most repeated in this column, and then all of them at the end, they all have like this like phrase like permalink, like was it really helpful? So I was just trying to get rid of like this part for all of the rows.
I see.
Because yeah, because when I try to find the common words, like I can only see helpful or like sign in to vote, which is like not accurate. Because
Okay, yeah, sure. Do you want to share your notebook with me? And then
yeah, so yeah, for sure. And then I try to like see the data type, and then it's an object, but then I try to turn it into a string. But then I think it still says object, so I was just kind of confused. I'll share my notebook.
Okay, sure. Yeah, those all look solvable. So do you want to just put it in the programming issues channel?
Oh yeah.
There we go. Okay, let me share my screen again so you can see it. All right. Okay, so we've got cool. Oh, terminate the other thing. All right, so that looks good. And then we've got the reviews. Okay. So let's just look at the first review. Okay, so it's this whole thing, and then review body is the thing that you want to change here. So so first of all, I'm seeing that there are these characters here that look like text separations. So we could split the review by those. And actually, it just looks like we want the first one. So that probably just gets us everything. So let's make a function to extract or clean up review. And then we'll say the review is called R. Then we'll return the review dot split of that thing, and then we'll return the first element of that list. Does that make sense? So clean up review of reviews iloc of 0 of review body is going to be just the like stuff minus the things you wanted to delete.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then just to like compare it, if we didn't clean it up, then it would look like this. So with all this kind of stuff at the end.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay,
So,
and so what we want to do is just say reviews of review body is this, oops, dot apply of clean up review. And then now when we look at this, it'll be the cleaned up version.
okay, thanks so much.
Sure thing. was that your only question or?
Yeah, for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So, Emily, did you know what Allison's question was? Okay.
She went to the sleep.
Got it. Okay, no problem. Does anyone else have a question in the meantime? Yeah, Kareem.
I don't know how to create a new IPYD inside my new folder. And I tried to do the path thing, but it just hasn't been working for some reason.
Got it. So,
So I have a new folder called MLS Software in the GitHub data stores. And then once I do add file or whatever, I know I can't add the IPYD through the add file, it's just to save it to GitHub.
mhm,
I don't know how to save it correctly. So when I do it, it just makes sense.
got it. So just as an example,
Right.
to save this one, so if we wanted to save this in GitHub, so let's, well, eventually it'll load. There we go. So the first thing you do is you scroll down to to your username
Right. And then-
/ storytelling with data. So let me, yeah, really long time. Okay, let's say this was your username. And then to put it in a folder, so the path is relative to the top directory of this repository. So if you want to put it in the data stories folder, then you just type data stories. And then if you want to put it in a subfolder of data stories, like you said MLS soccer, which does that already exist or no? No.
I think it's,
It might exist in your fork maybe, or,
yeah.
okay. So let's say this is your directory name, then you just say data stories / MLS soccer, and then / whatever you want your notebook to be called.
And that is also how you update, the, right? As
Yeah,
long as the name matches.
Yep.
The repository.
yeah, so it'll like create any folders that are needed and then replace any files with the same name. But you can only run this operation for your fork.
So if we try to switch like this to the context lab, they would just say.
Yeah, permission denied or something like that.
And do I put on the master's branch with you? Yeah. so
Yep, you
every
could-
time I do
yep.
that, I run into this issue Where in my folder.
I can't see from there, but do you want to sign on to Zoom and screen share or?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, it's a bit clunky. Okay, I'll stop my screen share. And then Allison, we could go to your question next. Sure. Okay. There we go. Okay. And then, yeah, so just you can share your screen.
Right. So
Right, so this is the IPYD I created, and this is my folder that I currently have with all of my data.
Mhm.
When I do file.
Oh, Was that GitHub gist? Yep, so that's different. Yep, exactly. Well, so you just want data hyphen stories there. Yep, that should work. Yeah, let's see what. Yep, perfect. So that works.
Oh, look, it's not there. Oh, it's right there. My bad.
Yeah, no worries. So are you, is that
Yeah,
that-
was it.
all right? Cool. The demo effect. Allison, did you have a question too?
Yeah, so I was thinking about data for the next story. And I guess on Friday I can ask more about the speculating, but I guess I wanted to talk to you about like what our ideas were and get your sense on like
Sure.
what like questions would be good to look at or data. So
Yeah.
I sent a document or a Google Doc in the data sets and ideas channel called data visualization
Oops.
ideas questions AEL.
You have to share it with me.
It's the, oh, sorry.
No worries.
Sorry. I just shared it with you, but I
Okay.
do want to, resend
Oh, could you share it with my Gmail address?
Oh, sorry, I sent it to the.
That's okay.
Jeremy.learning at
Gmail.com. Yep.
Sorry.
That's okay. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so I think my first question was, so originally my thought was like focusing on hate crimes in New Hampshire. And when I was looking at like the amount of anti-Semitic hate crimes in New Hampshire over time, I believe there were only 51. This is from like 2016 to 2022. And then if you look at the number of New Hampshire white supremacist propaganda or like white supremacist events, that's around 128. These are not, I mean, I'd say it's good that there's not a lot of events, but that's not, I don't know if that's a big enough data pool to make a view on, or if you would say that there's still nothing.
Well, what's your, like, what's the story or what's the story or how are you thinking about, like, let's say you had unlimited data, what would you look for?
So I guess my question is, last year at Dartmouth, there was a shooting of a menorah on the green, which was kind of unexpected. And so I wanted to look more into what is the incidence of anti-Semitic hate crimes in New Hampshire. And I wanted to see if like Hanover or Grafton County, how that compared to the rest of the state. And then I was also curious to compare that with the number of white supremacist hate crimes to see if there was a correlation there. I wanted to also look over time to see in terms of anti-Semitic hate crimes and white supremacist hate crimes, how they've changed over time. Another idea I had was you could look at, you could kind of see if there's any like what might be causing this, like the numbers. So like some ideas I had were like looking at the Jewish population in the area. You could look at another idea that's might be kind of hard would be like looking, if you like look at the different types of anti-Semitic hate crimes in New Hampshire, they have like descriptions. So if you could look and see like, is there a particular type of hate crime that happens more? So is it like we all about swastikas or something else? So you could, I don't know if it's like a word analysis or manually looking.
Do you have a pointer to the descriptions that might be useful?
Yeah.
Is it one of these links? Oh, is it? Okay.
I'll highlight it.
Okay, great. Oh,
So this is, I mean, this is more, but there's another better link. I have to find the other link, but there actually was one that is actually downloadable. If you go to research and tools, go to, heat map. Yeah, so you can filter by state,
Oh, I see.
basic type, ideology,
I
and
see.
years.
Oh, it's a nice visualization, actually.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I
What
like
is
it.
that? Is that like what's it show?
It's showing the amount of, I don't know if this is just for, I think it's any type of
Oh.
hate crime per state and per region.
I don't know why.
Over time.
Maybe it's like number, so if there are,
But this is just.
Oh,
for
yeah.
2021, but they have it
so it's like
for-
number of
it's just
incidents,
to-
looks like it controls the size of the circle. Oh,
But I guess my thought
just
was
looked it
like, maybe I could bring in other, since this is so robust anyway, like maybe like comparing it with other data in terms of like Jewish population, like looking at it over time, comparing it between counties. Another idea I had was maybe you could compare New Hampshire to state with other states, so you could look at like compare states, New Hampshire of similar size, New Hampshire, similar like rural population or similar Jewish population.
yeah, well, so in terms of another like data processing thing that'll be important to do is to normalize by the number of people, because like, well, if you compare New Hampshire to Vermont, it's like similarly,
Yeah.
similar locations, but there are more people in New Hampshire.
Yeah,
But still, if you compare Vermont or New Hampshire to like New York, then,
well, I don't think it'd be-
well, it might be okay if you divide by the number of people.
Okay,
So you could say like, incidents per 100,000 people or something like that. And then in terms of, I don't think there's like a specific threshold number of data points that means you can or can't look for patterns.
Mhm.
So it doesn't look like, looks like, okay,
That's
104
that's those. of
things.
here.
Yeah.
That's another time.
Yeah, but so like, if you've got 104, events, we could even
Yeah,
look.
that's in the 26, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Interesting. So I guess most of the data is recent.
Yeah.
So that's potentially interesting. Yeah, so looking over time could be interesting.
Then, the last thing, and I think I have to go through this, would be, on a different part of ADL website, they have by state, what hate crime laws they have. So you could look at if there's some kind of correlation between a state having, hate crime laws and then the number of hate crimes.
Mhm.
Are you looking for the map?
Yeah, so is that,
EDL hate crime map, but there, that's not like downloadable, so I have to probably basically copy the data to an Excel and convert it. So.
interesting. Nope.
So like they have it, but I think if you click on the different laws, you can like click on the. Yeah, scroll down here, they have it by what the laws are and then what category the law falls into.
Mhm.
So I think I just have to like do that or just copy it into it.
Yeah, you might be able to just copy and paste.
Okay. Would you have to, I guess, like make it like, I don't know, it's like, which, if you use 0, 1 or 1 or 2, like, for yes and no.
Yeah, when you're copying and pasting, you could just keep the yes and no, and then you could change that in Python. It's going to be easier.
Okay. Should I use 0 and 1 or 1 and 2?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. I didn't know there was a rest.
One thing that might be useful is like if you use 0 for no and 1 for yes,
Yeah.
then the average is going to be the same as the proportion with
Oh,
yes.
that's probably-
So that could
Okay.
be a nice thing.
What is, I feel like either typical way, people think they make, 0, no, 1, yes, 0,
0 is usually no
okay.
or false. Yeah, finally.
I thought, like, when we replace empty space by empty space, it becomes a string instead of list. No, it's like when we use the differentially in order to use the, in order to replace the empty space.
You might have to show me on your notebook, but I also want to
Yeah.
make sure Allison has finished her question and I'm also seeing we're over time here, but
I guess
um,
basically my question was just, like before I started digging into certain questions of data, I just wanted to verify some like what you recommend looking at first. So like, first of all, like if this is a good topic and it's data, it's not like all of everything else. And if it's a good topic, then-
so I think it looks like a very interesting topic. I think so if you want to look at like how laws affect hate crimes, then it's going to be hard to look at just one state because the state has
Yeah,
like there's no change there.
right.
So if you want to look at how laws affect hate crimes, you're probably going to have to look across states, which is fine.
Yeah,
I think if you want to dig into New Hampshire and look at like change over time, it looks like there's sufficient observations,
right.
sadly, I guess. But, I guess good from a data science perspective to get something. But you could also look across all states and it looks like this is only for US. So yeah, so you can look at,
I guess when I saw that also was like, I don't know, it's worth comparing it to like any of the other states like Vermont.
yeah, sure. Yep, that would be interesting. Yeah, so you just want to normalize for population
Yeah,
because like Massachusetts has a lot more people than.
Yeah.
Well, I guess New York isn't quite on the border, but I don't know. I guess you could, if you want to look at immediate neighbors, then that's fine. You could also look at other places in New England,
yeah.
just Northeast in general, or just all around the country. That could be interesting.
Do you think this, like, in terms of the analysis is going to be really challenging to do?
I think it depends what you want to get out of it, but I think, it just from looking at the, stuff that's popped up on the, okay, see it, screen so far, it looks like, you'll be able to come up with some sort of plot in a relatively straightforward way.
Right.
The biggest thing is just getting the data into a
Yeah,
format that you can read in Python.
I realized I didn't actually show you what the Excel looks like. So this is like the downloaded one. I think this is just
Thank you.
anti-Semitism,
Sure.
finally. So,
Yeah, that's perfect.
okay,
Yeah, that'll be great.
cool. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yes.
I remember the last class we talked about how I use clustering for the soccer players.
Mhm.
I was thinking of getting started on that today.
Yeah, do you want a
Is there
library?
something I should-
Yeah. Yeah, I would look at scikit-learn. The first, so if you want to like get kind of visual intuitions about clustering,
Right.
what these plots are showing is each dot is like an observation with an XY coordinate, and then each color is a cluster label. And then different algorithms are the different columns of this table. The place to start, like one of the simplest algorithms is k-means clustering. And so I would start there. Let me just tag you here.
Thank you.
Have a good one. I would try k-means clustering first. So there's, if you look at the link there, you'll see some example code.
And usually,
Oh, I guess this is for-
Is there a lot of like data cleaning that needs to be done before that, or is it usually just?
Well, so clustering usually happens on numbers, so everything has to be a number.
Okay.
Um,
And so I could, if it was like conditions, what I could do is I could make every forward number one, every.
yeah, yep. Could do something like that.
That's exciting. I'll get on
Yeah.
today.